What if, at the end of the day, the last private place you have, the place where your mind stitches the day into meaning and lets your nervous system breathe, has already been scheduled for sponsored content? We live in a world that whispers at us constantly. Watches, phones, speakers, cars, TVs, headphones, you name it, always on, always listening, always optimizing. We accept it because it's convenient, because we feel in control. But sleep is where the lock clicks. Sleep is where the prefrontal guard dozes and the subconscious comes to the mic. If technology is a lens that wants to focus attention, you have to ask, what's stopping it from focusing on your dreams? That unsettling question is the doorway into dream interpretation in 2025. Understanding our dreams isn't just a poetic curiosity anymore. It's personal cybersecurity for the psyche. We'll unpack what dreams are for, how to interpret them, and without superstition or any fluff, what science says about influencing them, whether dream hacking is realistic, and most importantly, how to protect the creative sanctuary of your inner night. Dreams are not random noise. They're structured, dynamic, and exquisitely personal. It's brain matter theater stitched from memory, emotion, prediction, and problem solving. Across the night, you cycle through non-REM and REM sleep. Non-REM is quieter cinema, deep restoration, synaptic housekeeping, memory consolidation. REM is neon cinema, vivid imagery, story-like narratives, emotional intensity, bizarre juxtapositions. Together, they rebalance your nervous system and update the brain's internal model of the world. A core modern view is predictive processing. Your brain is a prediction engine, generating best guesses about what's out there and comparing them against incoming signals. In dreams, sensory input is gated so the brain runs its world model off-leash. That's why dreams feel convincingly real, even when the physics are off. The storyteller doesn't have to chase external reality, only internal coherence and emotional urgency. In this simulation space, your brain can rehearse threats, recombine experiences to spark insight, dial down the sting of painful memories, and test hypothetical futures. Research on targeted memory reactivation, TMR, shows that subtle sensory cues during sleep can bias which memories get strengthened or even weakened if cues are disruptive, underscoring your dream's role in memory editing. If dreams are the nightly workshop where your mind tunes the instrument of you, then dream interpretation is reading the shop notes. Forget the idea that a universal dream dictionary can tell you what a snake or elevator means for all humans. Symbols aren't stock photos, they're personal. A snake to a herpetologist is not the same snake to someone that was bitten at the age of 7. Dream memory decays fast. Keep a notebook or a voice memo on your bedside. Write the headline first. I'm in a glass library. The floor becomes an ocean, etc. Then the emotional weather. You felt thrilled or curious or uneasy. Then add the fragments, like the dialogue, the colors, the body sensations. Don't interpret the dream yet, just collect all the information. And then ask yourself, what in the last 24 to 72 hours rhymes with this dream? Look for day residue, faces, headlines, tasks, emotions that can echo. Often dreams weave yesterday's threads into a new pattern, and notice how the dream felt moment to moment and where you felt it in your body. Maybe you felt it in your chest, or you felt heavy legs or buzzing hands. Emotions are the compass rose of dream meaning. And then identify the actors as parts of yourself. So a boss, a child, a stranger in red. Try an internal family lens. What part of you do they embody? Maybe the relentless driver, the fearful protector, the uninhibited creative. Write in first person as that character for a paragraph. Let it speak. And then name the dilemmas and the moves. Most dreams pivot around a problem and a move. Maybe a run, or maybe you're confronting, or you're hiding, investigating, transforming. Maybe you freeze. What did you do? What did you avoid? What would have happened if you tried the opposite? Dreams often rehearse strategies your waking self censors. And then extract the metaphor. What is the dream about in one sentence, as if explaining to a friend? I was trying to carry too many dishes without asking for help. That's cleaner than a hallway of floating plates. Your brain speaks fluent metaphor. And then make a micro experiment in waking life. So interpretation without action is just entertainment. So pick one small, testable step that honors the dream's message. Email the collaborator you keep avoiding. Calendar a 30-minute no plates block. Say the boundary sentence you swallowed yesterday. Then notice what changes. This process avoids superstition while preserving the dream's poetry. It respects that dreams are a doing, the brain working on you for you. And then lucid dreaming. Knowing you're dreaming while you dream turns some of us into directors of our inner cinema. We can change scenes, we can ask questions, or simply observe with curiosity rather than fear. The boundary between sleeping and waking cognition isn't as sealed as it seems. Multiple teams have shown two-way communication with lucid dreamers during verified REM sleep. Dreamers answered questions with eye movements or facial muscle signals in real time. That means the sleeping brain can receive, process, and respond to information from the outside world. It's wild, and it's real. Why does this matter for interpretation? Because it shows your dream isn't an isolated snow globe. Under the right conditions, cues can slip in. So can dreams be hacked? I went down a research rabbit hole and found the short answer. In a limited cue-based way, yes, influence is possible, apparently, but full-on inception brainjacking, for now, no, but science has moved beyond speculation. So there's targeted dream incubation, TDI. The MIT Media Lab's Dormio device guides hypnagogic dreams, the slipstream between waking and sleep, by delivering short audio prompts and waking you just enough to report, then dropping you back in to keep shaping content. It can steer themes. For example, think of a tree. Place that into your dream imagery during sleep onset. And this isn't reading your mind, it's gentle theme nudging, but at a very receptive window. Targeted memory reactivation, when you pair a sound or a scent with a learning task while awake, then replay that cue in sleep. The cue biases the brain to revisit that memory and can strengthen it. Or if the cue is intense enough to fragment sleep, even weaken it. So the timing matters. Cues just after REM detection, these are more readily woven into dream content. And then this is evidence that outside stimuli can alter which memories your sleeping brain prioritizes. And then advertising in dreams. In 2021, apparently, a beer brand ran a campaign nudging participants to dream about its product before the Super Bowl, sparking an open letter from 35 sleep researchers warning that TDI advertising is a slippery slope. If we normalize corporate access to our unconscious, the potential for abuse is obvious. The researchers called for guardrails before this becomes standard practice. So what hacking would actually require? To move beyond lab demos, a would-be dream influencer needs, number one, a reliable detection of sleep stage and micro-arousals. And then B, or two, precisely timed cues, so audio/olfactory/tactile, that are subtle enough not to wake you, but strong enough to be integrated. And then C, personalization. Your cues must be meaningfully associated with content you already care about. That's a high bar, but not science fiction when many of us sleep near microphones, speakers, and scent diffusers, and when wearables can infer sleep stages. Active academic research continues to refine timing and effects. So yes, influence is definitely possible. The question is how to keep your inner night yours. 3 smart dream shield strategies. These are practical and they're not there to make you paranoid. You don't need tinfoil pajamas. I also not sure a dream catcher is going to work in 2025, but you never know. So you need boundaries that match how influence actually works. So I would say number 1, build a night firewall. So this just means silence the channels that slip in. Kill the pipeline from, let's say, 90 minutes before bed through to the morning. Put your phones, your tablets, everything on airplane mode and do not disturb with a strict schedule. Even better, turn them off. If you use a sleep app or audio, download files and switch to offline mode. Avoid smart playlists with midstream ads. And then also mute the ambient mics. Smart speakers use the physical mic off button or unplug at night, and then TVs power off fully. Don't just leave them idle. Many sets push ambient content to the idle screen. Choose deterministic audio. If you like soundscapes, run a local white noise file or a loop end fan, not an algorithmic feed. The goal is to eliminate unpredictable cues that could pair with your day and sneak into TMR. And then router scheduling. This is a really good one. If your household allows, schedule Wi-Fi off from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. This is less about radiation anxiety than attention hygiene. Your devices can't fetch fresh stimuli if there's nothing to fetch. I know this is boring, but that's the point. Precision cueing needs a pipe. Remove it. And then you want to control the sensory sandbox. So that's what the brain can weave in. Standardize nighttime scents and sounds. TMR depends on association. Keep your pre-sleep environment steady. One neutral scent or nothing at all. And then consistent sound profile, stable lighting. Avoid branded or novelty scents near your bedtime. A new cue is a hook. And then buffer bedtime. If the final 90 minutes, no marketing-rich feeds, social or streaming ads, shopping, those prime the very content that cues might later reactivate. And then vibrating watches, phones should be off. Small haptics can be incorporated into dreams. So earplugs and an eye mask can help, but don't rely on them alone and control the source. Just think of your bedroom like a clean lab. So fewer variables are fewer ways for outside content to hitch a ride. Install a cognitive shield. So set an intention. A 60-second script works. Tonight my dreams are for restoration and insight. If outside cues arrive, I'll notice and return to my theme. You're priming your predictive brain with your marching orders, and then self-incubate consciously. Dream incubation isn't only for labs. Choose a wholesome theme, like something healing, a creative problem, or a safe place, and then spend 5 minutes imagining sensory details. The brain is more likely to follow your lead than a random cue. Keep it lucidity light. You don't need full lucid superpowers. Do gentle daytime reality checks, spot oddities, ask, am I dreaming, and carry that habit into sleep. Even a hint of lucidity gives you veto power. Oh, that's an external cue. Not tonight. So these 3 layers, channel control, sensory control, and narrative control, form a practical stack. You've reduced the attack surface and boosted your sovereignty. The point of protecting dreams isn't to entomb them, it's to preserve their signal. Your brain is doing delicate night work. It's integrating memory, rebalancing emotion, testing strategies. When you interpret a dream, you're extracting that night work into daylight action. The process, without drifting into superstition or cynicism, I would favor patterns over single dreams. So 1 dream can be noisy. 3 dreams in a week pointing to avoidance at work is a pattern. Weight emotion over plot. If the plot is a roller coaster, but the emotion is helplessness, the dream is about power, not thrill rides. Note the reversals. Dreams love inversion. If you're bold by day and cautious in dreams, something wants balance. Translate metaphors into verbs. So common one, teeth falling out. How am I feeling about power, about communication, aging, or appearance? What conversation am I avoiding? Turn the image into an action, and then cross-check with your body. Your body keeps the score. If the dream ends with a relaxed jaw and warm chest, your interpretation should land like that too. Relief, not mental gymnastics. Close the loop next night. 1 line of intention before sleep. Thanks for the message. Here's what I tried today. Show me what's next. This treats your dreaming mind as a collaborator. The shadow question. What happens if we don't set boundaries? The open letter from sleep scientists in 2021 warned about normalizing targeted dream incubation for marketing. If we accept corporate influence in our dreams as quirky novelty, we'll be late to regulate by the time it scales. It's not alarming to imagine subscription sleep platforms optimizing dream engagement or attention markets extending into the night. The feasibility is circumscribed but non-zero. The ethical stakes here are high. At the same time, the research frontier is thrilling in pro-human ways. Using lucid dreams for therapy, skill rehearsal, emotional healing, and creativity, studies continue to refine how sensory cues, precisely timed to sleep stages, can help learning or soften traumatic memory. These are powerful tools when guided by consent and care. The difference between healing and manipulation will come down to agency. Who sets the intention? Who controls the cues? And who benefits from the edits your brain makes at night? So I found some objections and some honest answers I'd like to share. The first one is, isn't dream interpretation just confirmation bias? Bias is real. That's why we use a method. So you capture first, interpret later, prioritize emotion, and act in small ways and look for real-world results. If a micro action changes your day, that's not bias, that's feedback. And then another objection, I don't remember my dreams. You remember what you make space for. So try earlier bedtime, less alcohol, be notebook ready. Intention the night before. So 1 minute of lying still before falling asleep, even a single image or feeling like a green stairwell, you felt nervous, is enough to start in your notebook. Recall grows with practice. What about nightmare sufferers? Well, nightmares can be the nervous system begging to process what's stuck. So imagery rehearsal therapy, IRT techniques, that's rewriting the dream while you're awake and then rehearsing the new version. This can reduce nightmare frequency. Now pair that with night firewall to minimize intrusive cues. Won't all this protection make me paranoid? Well, the point isn't to fear your devices, it's to design your environment so it serves your goals. So think of it like, brushing your teeth. Small daily hygiene every day prevents, bigger problems down the line. Dream hacking isn't mind control, it's cue control. Your sleeping brain is exquisitely responsive to meaning. It privileges personally significant cues. That's why your intention beats a stranger's jingle. If you fill your last waking minutes with messages that matter to you, and you close the input pipes that don't, you make the lab conditions hostile to manipulation. So the science is both humbling and empowering. Humbling because the mind is permeable in ways our waking ego doesn't like to admit, and empowering because small, thoughtful changes, boring and repeatable, yes, unfancy, reliably shift outcomes. Dreams are where your story rewrites itself every night. They belong to you, not to your to-do list, not to your feed, and not to a brand. So tonight, choose a theme you want more of. Courage, reconciliation, a song that hasn't been written yet. Power down the pipelines. Keep your sensory sandbox simple and aim your mind gently. Give the craftspeople of your inner night a clean, quiet shop and clear instructions. Interpret the notes in the morning. Act on one of them. Repeat. This is how you take back the only canvases no camera can see, unless you invite it. And if someone tries to sell ad space in your dreams, you'll notice the angle, the smile, and the change the channel. After all, the remote has been in your hand all along.